Let's strip everything down and confront your most unsettling truth. Deep inside, you fear you're not loved, merely endured. Does that sting? It should. You've been conditioned to crave approval, yet no one warned you that this approval is often a silent snare.
Since childhood, you were taught to be agreeable, to win affection by being pleasant. But what no one told you is the darkest irony. Kindness can often serve as the entry point for betrayal. When you make pleasing others your habit, you expose yourself. Each smile, every generous act, it quietly signals where you're weakest. People don't always admire it. They assess it. They calculate. They watch. Because whether you admit it or not, you already sense the truth. Affection is fleeting. It's delicate, ever-shifting, dependent on passing moods. Years of trust can collapse in a second over a misunderstood word or a moment you never saw coming. But fear, that leaves a mark, carves itself into memory. Not the kind of fear that breeds contempt or hate. That's useless. No, the powerful kind is what we call respectful fear. The kind that stops someone in their tracks because they know pushing further has consequences. Here's the part most ignore. When it comes to influence, it's often far safer to be feared than adored. History is filled with figures who sought universal admiration, only to be undone by the very people they trusted most. Excessive warmth is often read as fragility, and in a world that preys on weakness, that's fatal. Machiavelli understood this dynamic perfectly. Society pretends to dismiss his ideas, yet it enacts them in secret every day. You've been told that asserting yourself is oppressive, that setting strong limits makes you harsh. But ask yourself, who benefits from your softness? It's not you. It's those waiting for your defenses to drop. Loyalty? It tends to last only while it's beneficial. Respect? It stays as long as people fear the price of disrespect. The art is in knowing when to be firm and when to lean into structure. Because power rests on two foundations: laws that define order and force that ensures they're obeyed. Laws without strength are just polite suggestions. Power without order becomes chaos. The wise leader holds both, not through cruelty, but through balance. They lead with authority and clarity, never drifting into violence, but never shying from strength. Maybe this sounds harsh, but take a look around. How often have you seen the kindest person be treated like a doormat? How many times has leniency been mistaken for permission to betray? You keep believing that if you're just good enough, no one will hurt you. That's a lie. The only shield that truly holds is earned respect. And yes, sometimes a measured dose of fear. Popularity isn't power. Approval isn't control. Real leadership stems from presence, from the aura that demands respect and radiates consequence. When done right, it doesn't provoke hate. It inspires caution. And that subtle caution is your true defense. This isn't about becoming a monster. It's about mastering human nature. People revere what they fear losing. They dismiss what they feel safe taking for granted. That's just how we're wired. If you want real leadership, you must learn to dance with fear and never let it spiral into resentment. Because fear, unchecked, can breed hatred. But respectful fear, that creates loyalty. Want real strength? Then drop the obsession with being liked. Start managing perception with skill. Be just but unbending. Be kind but never naive. Always plan with foresight. Anticipate the betrayal before it arrives. And when it does, act not with rage but with deliberate, unwavering response. Because when the storm hits, and it will, the only thing that will keep you standing isn't charm or popularity. It's the solid authority you built with discipline, self-awareness, and strategic power. Here's a bitter truth. People forget the favors you do, but they remember the power you project. Machiavelli had it right. The safety of fear-based respect outlasts the soft warmth of admiration every time. Master this principle and you grasp the real mechanics of leadership. Understand, authority shouldn't be overwhelming. It should be expertly timed. If you're always strong, people stop noticing. But if you strike with precision, your actions become legendary. Predictability is a leader's worst enemy. What makes people pause isn't consistency, it's surprise. Ask yourself, who earns more respect? The one who lashes out routinely or the one who remains calm until they act when it matters most? This is the secret. True leadership doesn't come from volume, but presence. You don't need to speak much when every word carries weight. The greatest mistake is trying to keep everyone happy, because in doing so, you lose who you are. Leadership demands hard decisions. Not applause, not approval, just results. Think of the names we remember through history. What made them last? Not popularity. It was their ability to stay calm when others lost control. And here's a truth few dare say aloud. Real leadership is lonely. Power always carries solitude. The higher you climb, the fewer people understand your choices. That's not failure. That's the nature of the summit. But once you embrace that loneliness, you're no longer emotionally entangled. You decide without fear, and that's freedom. Many fall because they share authority with those who envy it. Jealousy doesn't announce itself, it waits. The skilled leader knows this and surrounds themselves only with those tested by hardship. They create mystery, intentional gaps in what others can read. Why? Because when people can't predict you, they tread carefully. Power doesn't come from brute strength. It's born in understanding others' vulnerabilities. Learn what moves people, their hopes, their fears, and you control the board. This is the silent weapon of every skilled strategist. Psychological leverage. Others will waste energy trying to be liked. The wise instead decode behavior. They listen to what's unsaid. Machiavelli didn't advocate tyranny. He exposed human nature. Few act from kindness. Most act from convenience. And whoever accepts that gains the upper hand. Now ask yourself, would you rather be loved or respected? Society teaches you to say loved. But in the real world, perceived weakness is exploited without hesitation. True strength is calculated generosity, controlled kindness, delivered sparingly and only when strategically sound. Overgive and people stop thanking you. They start expecting more. Doubt is your enemy. Respect dies when you hesitate, not when you act with conviction. Here's another reality. No one ever fully owns power. It's an illusion we collectively uphold. It only exists because people agree it does. But once they stop believing, it vanishes. That's why true leaders maintain the illusion. They manage it, challenge it, reinforce it subtly. That's the dividing line between leader and tyrant. Tyrants believe they're invincible, and that delusion brings them down. Leaders never forget how fragile power is, and that humility is their edge. So I ask you now, what is it you truly seek? Real power or the illusion of safety it promises? If it's comfort you want, you're in the wrong place. Real influence is messy, risky, demanding, but it's also exhilarating. The ones who reshape the world are those who thrive in tension, who never seek stability but master the storm. If you're still here, it's because that spark of leadership burns in you. And you need to hear this clearly. Greatness doesn't come from always being right. It comes from always getting back up. Those who resurrect themselves from setbacks become legends. Thank you for taking this journey through the psychological depths of influence and control. If you've made it this far, you already know the truth. Life doesn't reward force. It rewards the one who knows when and how to use it. Now choose your role. The builder or the pawn, the tactician or the target, the creator of your fate or its victim. Here's one last insight. Real authority doesn't defend itself with explanations. If you find yourself over-justifying, you've already weakened your stance. Let your choices prove your strength. Let silence carry weight. Because mystery invites respect and fear. People revere what they don't fully understand, and they dread what they cannot predict. If you want to rise through the ranks of power, you must understand this. Control is never granted. It's seized. And once you have it, it demands constant vigilance, precision, and humility. Use your strength wisely. Show restraint. But never let anyone forget that you're capable of force. That's how true authority is built and preserved. In the end, it's simple. Influence the mind and you control reality. And those who understand this truth, the intricate dance between fear and respect, are never forgotten. So decide, will you be loved and fragile or respected and enduring? Or if you're truly skilled, both. But remember, the line between admiration and hatred is thin. Walk it with caution, and you'll become untouchable. Now ask yourself, can you recognize the difference between being feared and being respected? Many never learn, and that ignorance costs them everything. Fear might command a room, but only respect can outlast your presence. The leader who understands this inspires action, even in absence. Learn to strike at the right moment, but also know when to loosen your grip. Let others stumble and realize your worth on their own. Let them feel the void of your absence, and fear it. The best leaders aren't dictators. They're mirrors. They provoke questions, not just give answers. They embed their vision in the minds of others so deeply that even when they're gone, the echo remains. Let's talk about a subtle force. Silence. Yes, silence. Often overlooked, rarely mastered. A pause, a lack of reaction, it forces others to confront their own insecurity. And in that moment, you gain power. Strategic silence isn't weakness. It's control. It creates anticipation, uncertainty, and that's how you command attention. But tread carefully. Prolonged fear leads to hate. And once someone hates you, they won't rest until you fall. So lead with awareness. Measure every emotional wave you create. Show empathy at the brink, but never lose command. Use praise like a scalpel, not a confetti cannon. Reward must be rare, meaningful, unforgettable. One well-timed compliment can bond someone to you tighter than 100 threats. And when it comes to rivals, don't erase them immediately. Let them exist. Let their challenges showcase your strength. Their failure, when it comes, will reinforce your dominance. The best leaders are relentless observers. They read the smallest signs. A glance, a silence, a hesitation. And they act only when the moment is perfect. Crisis will come. Power will waver. But your response in those dark moments defines you. Stay composed. Show strength. And your authority will not just return, it will grow. Because in the end, leadership is a psychological game. A dance with uncertainty. A measured manipulation of human behavior. And now you must decide, are you ready to lead, truly lead? Or will you fall back into the comfort of obedience? Because once you choose the path of power, there is no return. Only forward.